Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating, deeply complex text by Xu Feng titled The 18 Inevitable Factors. As we unpack this, we're going to examine a concept that might completely flip how you view your everyday decisions. We're looking at the idea that unseen, mathematically precise forces might just be shaping absolutely every single aspect of our lives, from the exact foods we crave all the way to the historical eras we happen to be born into.
So let me just start by asking you a question. Are you truly in control of your own life? I mean, we all like to think we're the captains of our own ships, right? We navigate our careers, our relationships, our daily habits with total free will. But today's explainer is going to frame everything around a profound tension. What if what feels like free will is actually just the illusion of control? What if you and all of us are actually operating within a framework of absolute inevitability?
Okay, look at this staggering number, 1 quadrillion. That is a 1 with 15 zeros. According to the source text, there are 18 mainstream inevitabilities in life, and each of those has an average of 10 substreams, bringing us to 180 factors. The author claims that these 180 factors interact and intersect with one another to form nearly 1 quadrillion unique governing factors. The text argues that this massive, invisible web of intersections is the root cause of why human destiny seems mathematically inescapable, and why no two human lives in history are ever exactly the same.
To help us wrap our heads around this 1 trillion factor matrix, here's our roadmap. We'll look at the illusion of control, then biology and past lives, environment and society, cosmic and spiritual forces, and finally, the path to freedom.
Starting off with Section 1, Biology and Past Lives, or what we'll call the personal sphere.
The text argues that our baseline reality is strictly constrained by our physical traits, like genetics, which basically dictate our biological limits. Then you've got your daily diet and habits. How well you eat directly impacts your mind and your efficiency. We're also driven by innate instincts, which the text categorizes as the 7 emotions, things like joy, anger, and fear, and the 6 desires, like the drive for food or social recognition. And finally, the text factors in sudden, unpredictable changes. Think of unexpected illnesses or sudden accidents. The author makes a really interesting claim here. These aren't just bad luck. They are actually the inevitable, qualitative result of hidden, accumulated quantitative changes.
And this leads right into the text's deeper metaphysical claims. The source argues that your core personality isn't actually inherited from your parents at all. Instead, it posits that your personality is carried over from a past life. So, for example, the text claims that if someone is naturally cunning and deceitful in this life, it stems from having the life carrier of a fox in a previous existence. Or if someone is incredibly hardworking and bears heavy burdens, they carry the legacy of a cow. It's a fascinating framework where your innermost nature is seen as an inevitable carryover from the past.
Zooming out a bit, we hit Section 2, Environment and Society, the social sphere.
Within this sphere, the crucial point is that your absolute freedom is heavily curtailed by your social ties. First off, parental habits cast a really long shadow. The text uses an anecdote of a child naturally mimicking his father's verbal catchphrases to show how behavior just transfers. Then consider your spouse. The text describes a spouse as essentially another you, whose habits, good or bad, intimately alter your daily reality. Throw children into the mix, and the text notes that raising them becomes this immense focus that completely drains your time and dictates your life center. Finally, we're bound by our era and culture. The values, the technological level, even the national strength of the time you're born into completely box in what is possible for your life.
But it's not just the people around you, it is the physical ground you stand on. The text introduces this concept of earth chi. Earth chi is defined as the nourishing energy brought by the Earth's veins, which the author describes as channels of water and air moving beneath the surface. The text asserts that the geographical energy of where you live directly impacts you. Places with strong earth chi, like areas with abundant spring water, are said to foster physical health and spiritual vitality. On the flip side, dark, damp environments completely depleted. So your physical location is framed as a major inevitable factor.
Moving even further out, we get to Section 3, Cosmic and Spiritual Forces, the Universal Sphere. The factors listed here show just how far beyond our control this framework actually goes. The text argues we are impacted by ancestral karmic debts, meaning hidden moral debts or negative actions committed by our ancestors that we inevitably inherit and suffer the consequences of today. Then you have purely cosmic forces, solar flares, cosmic radiation, the gravitational pull of the planets, all of which the author claims alter our physiology and our psychology. And lastly, the text lists extradimensional interference, which brings us to a very specific esoteric concept.
The author defines this interference as demonic pranks. What's so interesting here is how specific the author gets with this. These are described as unexplainable phenomena, or punishments, enacted by life forms existing in higher dimensional spaces. The text gives a great example for this. Imagine a person arrogantly boasting out loud, "I'm very healthy, I'm never going to fall ill." According to the author, that kind of prideful boasting actually triggers these higher dimensional forces to play a prank, or exact a punishment, causing the person's health to inevitably and mysteriously deteriorate shortly after.
So, to tie all these visible and invisible forces together, the author draws a really sharp contrast between surface phenomena and hidden essence. Humanity often just sees the surface, right? An apple falling, an employee flattering a boss, or the seasons changing. But the text argues that to truly understand inevitability, we have to look at the hidden essence, the gravity, the raw desire for personal benefit, or the cosmic operation of karma and the Tao. The author's whole point is that we are constantly blinded by the superficial, material world, completely missing the hidden rules that actually govern us.
And this concept of hidden essence, it scales all the way up to major global conflicts. The text presents a truly massive metaphysical claim regarding the heavenly world. It asserts that our universe consists of 36-dimensional spaces. According to the author, major historical events on Earth, specifically citing World War II, were not random geopolitical accidents at all. Instead, they were unavoidable reflections of spiritual warfare happening in the celestial, 36-dimensional realms. The author posits that humanity is inevitably swept up in these higher dimensional shifts.
Finally, we arrive at Section 4, the path to freedom, transcending inevitability.
So, you might be thinking, with 1 quadrillion intersecting factors from our past life personalities all the way up to 36-dimensional wars, are we just completely trapped? Well, the text acknowledges a harsh reality. As long as you are human, you are pushed and pulled by these trillions of factors. You still gotta hustle. You still have to work, eat, and deal with society. You live in what the author calls the kingdom of necessity. However, the author suggests that by understanding the true meaning of life, you can exercise conscious practice and cultivation. By doing so, you can literally shift your life's coordinates, moving from this kingdom of necessity into the kingdom of freedom.
And the author actually maps out a specific, structured hierarchy for this cultivation. The lowest, most practical goal is simply achieving basic health, wealth, and freedom. Then the midterm goal becomes psychological, learning to be completely free from worldly cares even while you are actively participating in the secular world. The highest goal is purely metaphysical, literally transcending time and space. And finally, the overall ultimate goal of navigating all 180 of these inevitable factors is to achieve perfect human nature.
We have gone beyond the 3 worlds and no longer subject to the 5 elements. The universe is orderly. Life is inevitable. The text leaves us with this really profound idea that true freedom isn't about having random free will. It's about deeply understanding the rules of the game so you can ultimately transcend them. So after exploring these 1 quadrillion intersecting factors of biology, society, and the cosmos, I want to leave you with this. What parts of your destiny do you truly control? And what parts are you simply navigating? Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today, and keep questioning the world around you.